events like we've seen. With the 2024 race and post-race party now behind us, it's time to celebrate the volunteers. More than 2,000 of them helped at this year's event, and right now they're partying at the Adirondack Bank Center, or will be very shortly, along with News Channel 2's Ben Kinney. Ben, good evening.
Hey, Kristen, good evening. It's the best 15K in the country with some of the best volunteers in the country. And coordinating all of that, Cindy Dardano. She's the volunteer coordinator, and she joins me now. Cindy, just a great weekend from your perspective. How did it look?
Oh my gosh, this was probably the best Boilermaker ever. Everyone was so happy. The volunteers were incredible, and I think this was our tops.
Over 2,000 volunteers, Kristen just mentioned it. Is that number big for you guys? Is that small, or is that about average?
You know, in the past we had like maybe more, but I think that was too many. 2,000 people right now are just perfect, and they all have jobs to do, and everyone works hard, and I think that's the perfect number.
And we're now less than 365 days to Boilermaker 2025, and it'll go by fast, I'm sure, as it always does. When can folks sign up? When do those sign-ups open, and where can they sign up as well?
We're hoping to either open it up December or January. It'll be on the Boilermaker website. You have to click on volunteer, and it'll take you to run sign up, and you could choose your committee. But I think probably December and January.
And it's not just for race day. We were just talking about it off camera, that people can volunteer for. It's the entire weekend.
Right? There are so many things, bid pickup and setup, and just helping build the store and merchandise. There's tons of things for people to do, and all the committees are listed with their jobs and duties. So,
alrighty, Cindy Dardano, the volunteer coordinator for the UTICA Boilermaker Road Race. Another fantastic year for them. The party continuing here at the Adirondack Bank Center, celebrating the volunteers for all of their hard work throughout the weekend. Without them, this race would not have been possible. For now, we're going to send it back to Smith Hill, reporting in Utica. Ben Kinney, News Channel 2. Kristen?
All right, Ben, thank you. One of the most talked about. The Boilermaker is easily one of the biggest events to take place in central New York, and it takes a lot of people to make it happen. 2,000 volunteers are being thanked tonight. News Channel 2's Ben Kinney live at the Adirondack Bank Center. Ben, good evening.
Hey, Kristen, good evening. Yeah, 2,000 people, if you can imagine that. Think of this. The village of Clinton has a population of, I think, just over 1,600 people. So almost the population of the village of Clinton. That's how much it takes to put on this event tonight. They're being celebrated. A lot of them are here at the Adirondack Bank Center. I'm going to step out of the shot and just take a look. Having a great time. They've got cornhole and they've got food. Now, a ceremony to recognize race organizers and also the volunteers of the year will be starting in just a few minutes. The volunteers of the year this year, Andrew Reath and Phyllis Petrillo. Of course, we introduced you to Phyllis back on Friday. She's been a volunteer for 45 of the 47 years of this race, most recently being chair of the Packet Pickup Committee. We also told you on Friday that she is going to be stepping down from that role, but still plans on helping out. Now, the volunteers are a huge part in what makes the race a successful one, and not just on race day, but also the weeks leading up to the race as well. They do everything from food, water, handing those out during the race, traffic control, safety, medical services, all of that and more. They're always looking for more volunteers. Volunteer coordinator Cindy Dardano, I spoke with her earlier. She tells me they plan to open up volunteer registration for the 2025 Boilermaker in December. All you have to do once it opens, go online and sign up. And December will be here before you know it, I'm sure, as will Boilermaker 2025. For now, reporting at the Adirondack Bank Center, Ben Kinney, News Channel 2. Kristen?
All right, Ben, thank you. A photo finish at the Boilermaker on the women's side. We have that story at WKTV.com, and you can check your race results there as well. Click the blue bar at the top of the homepage. That's going to take you to this screen. You don't even need an approximate time. Just type in your name. If you missed any of our broadcast, you have another chance to watch this Sunday, 11 a.m. on the CW11. Kids Run, though, that airs tonight. In
the books, it was time to say thank you to all those volunteers who who made it possible. Those volunteers gathered at the Adirondack Bank Center this evening for a night of food, fun, and games. An estimated 2,000 people volunteered their time and efforts to make this year's Boilermaker a success. A special ceremony also took place to recognize race organizers and this year's Volunteers of the Year, Reath and Phyllis Petrillo. Petrillo has been volunteering for 45 of the race's 47 years, most recently as the chair of the Packet Pickup Committee. These volunteers are a huge part in what makes the race a success, and it's not just on race day, but the weeks leading up to it as well.
The runners are the body of the race, but the volunteers are the heart and soul. Without them, there would be no race. They do the safety, they hand out food and water and everything, so they're the whole thing, but they're what the race is about.
Now, it might be a little too early to volunteer for next year's race, but it's never too early to think about it. We have a link on our website that you can bookmark, so when the time comes, you'll be just one click away from volunteering for the 2025 Boilermaker. Boilermaker is in the books for the volunteers as well, and today it was time to say thank you to those who made it possible. Those volunteers gathered at the Adirondack Bank Center this evening for a night of food, fun, and games. Over 2,000 people volunteered their time and efforts to make this year's race a success. A special ceremony also took place to recognize race organizers and this year's Volunteers of the Year, Reath and Phyllis Petrillo. Petrillo has been volunteering for 45 years of the 47 years of the race, most recently as the chair of the Packet Pickup Committee. These volunteers are a huge part in what makes the race a success, and it's not just on race day, it's the weeks leading up to the race as well.
The runners are the body of the race, but the volunteers are the heart and soul. Without them, there would be no race. They do the safety, they hand out food and water and everything, so they're the whole thing, but they're what the race is about.
Now, it might be a little bit too early to register to volunteer for next year's race, but it's never too early to think about it. So we have a link up on our website that you can bookmark. So when the time comes, you're just one click away from volunteering for the 2025 Boilermaker.